Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Instagram Live. Today we have two special guests, and we will be discussing how you can help children take better care of their oral health. And I will be joined by Dr. Buehler from Delta Dental, and I will be joined by Catch, which is an organization that helps schools get programming into their programs so that they can have great curriculums to teach their students about oral health. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and invite my guest into the room. So let's see. Give me 1 second. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Dr. Buehler. How are you?
Hi, good morning. So good to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time out to speak with me and my audience today. If you are just joining in, we are here with Dr. Buehler from Delta Dental, and we have Catch Health with us. So if you want to drop any questions, please use the question box that is below, and I'll go ahead and let these ladies introduce themselves. We could start with Shannon.
Sure. Hi, my name is Shannon Green, and I am the Catch Healthy Smiles Program Manager for Catch Global Foundation. Before I came on and started working with Catch, I was a classroom teacher and a PE teacher, and I worked with young kids in preschools as well. I'm also a mother of two, so of course oral health is very important to me, and in participating in Catch Healthy Smiles, I have learned so much that I've been able to share with my students and with my kids. And so we're really excited to be able to share the program with you today.
Thank you. Dr. Buehler, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Jessica Buehler, and I'm a dentist. I've been practicing for about 14 years before I joined Delta Dental Insurance Company last year. I work here as their Director of Dental Affairs, so my job is basically to oversee quality across our network. And today I'm here on behalf of our Community Care Foundation. We are so excited to be partnering with Catch with this incredible program in schools across the USA. We're excited to talk about oral health and wellness, especially as it pertains to the classroom and schools and young people in our country.
Awesome. Thank you. So I am so excited for this live because as I was meeting with you the previous days, I learned so much, and I know that my audience is going to take so much knowledge from this live that we have. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and ask Dr. Buehler a few questions. And the first question I have is, how can educators and parents, or what can educators and parents do to support better oral health in children?
I love this question, and I'm going to just start out by apologizing to your audience that I completely nerd out about dental stuff here, so hang with me. But I get so excited and so passionate because it is really important to overall health to take care of our mouth, and there's a bunch of research that supports this. But as parents and as educators, the most important thing that you can be doing is modeling good oral health behaviors and talking positively about going to the dentist, your dental experiences. So when you're a teacher at the front of that classroom and you come in after lunch and you're maybe brushing your teeth before you step back in front of the class, or you're drinking water from a water bottle all day, that is such a good example that you can set for your students of good oral health habits. And when you have a snack, if you have a healthy food choice snack in front of the kids and talk about those food choices, that is an amazing way to have a positive impact. Also, we want to be careful about how we talk about dental experiences. I have had a lot of children in my dental office who have really significant dental fear. And then you're like kind of wondering, like, where did this come from or what's happening? And then the parent comes into the operatory and they're extremely afraid of the dentist, or they're talking about it in a really negative way. I don't know how many times I've had parents say, if you don't take care of your teeth, she's going to give you a shot, or sorts of things where you're like, no, like we want this to be really fun. And actually dentistry today, like we can give injections sometimes without kids even knowing they had an injection, which always creates like a slightly awkward moment when we go back to the parents and they say, Mom, I didn't even get a shot. And like, I'm standing behind them going, no, like I promise I numb them up. So focusing on the fun, the proactive, the good things we can do for our overall health and body.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And before we go any further, I do want to say that we are introducing this program to you all. It's called Catch Healthy Smiles, and it is sponsored by the Delta Dental Community Care Foundation. So I would like for you guys to hear a little bit more about the program. It is a free curriculum for grades K through 2, and I'm going to let Shannon go ahead and talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, like she said, it's absolutely free program thanks to Delta Dental. And so Catch Healthy Smiles was actually developed for grades kindergarten through 2nd grade in hopes that we would help create a decline in any kind of oral cavities or caries. And what we found through our pilot studies is that by working together, by creating a coordinated atmosphere where we're talking about oral health with our students, we can improve the oral health. We can make a big difference. So it's so important that we're integrating oral health into our daily messages that we send with our students.
And can you tell us who created the Catch Healthy Smiles program?
I can, but it's a mouthful, so get ready for this. So the program was created by researchers at the Michael and Susan Dell Center for Healthy Living at the University of Texas, and that's the Science Center at Houston. So it's UT Health School of Public Health. I told you, it was a mouthful, but they have done an incredible job of creating a resource that is very useful in classrooms and once again can make a big difference.
Thanks. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to Dr. Buehler because you have just been sharing some great tips. So can you tell us what is the #1 early childhood disease and some of the misconceptions that people may have about teeth in general, especially with children?
Yeah, so tooth decay or cavities, we also call it dental caries, is the #1 disease of early childhood. It is so prevalent amongst kids. It's 6 times more prevalent than asthma even. And a lot of times it's going undiagnosed. And the reason this is so important is that dentists can do a lot of treatments that are not as painful and not as invasive if we catch dental caries early. And so we want to see your child regularly. We want to get kids into the dentist. If a child gets to the point where they actually have pain in their mouth, that's a much more advanced stage of dental caries. And so we want to avoid that. If you hear a child in your classroom or if you have a child in your home that's saying something hurts, it really means you need to get them into their dentist just to get it checked, because the more positive visits that kids have, getting in and having a happy visit, getting the toy or a sticker, getting positive reinforcement for their brushing and flossing habit at that dental office, it just builds us into healthier adults who are more likely to see the dentist more regularly.
And speaking of visiting the dentist, how often should people go to visit the dentist?
Yeah, so this is a great question. And unfortunately, there's not a straightforward answer to this. It depends on your level of oral health. So for most kids, we recommend that every child sees the dentist by age 1. So by their first birthday, they should go in to have their first dental check. And I know that seems really young. But we want to make sure that everything's developing normally and that they don't have an early condition called bottle rot, where milk that's left in a bottle overnight in their mouth can actually rot their teeth at a very young age. So most kids are going to want to see the dentist every 6 months for a regular checkup. That's kind of normal. Some children who have higher decay rates may be asked to come in even more frequently than that. And adults need to have their gums checked for gum disease. Gum disease can actually... It is the main link to all of these overall health conditions that we worry about in adults. And some adults with gum disease are going to be asked to come in for cleanings as frequently as 4 times a year. So definitely at least once a year for everyone. For most kids, it's going to be twice a year.
Thank you. And I did ask my audience a couple of questions. And one of the questions that came up a lot was, Is there such thing as brushing your teeth too hard? And what type of toothbrush should we use? Should we use soft, medium? What do we do with our toothbrush?
Yes. So these are great questions, and 1 out of 1 dentist is recommending that you use a soft toothbrush. Okay, so soft or ultra soft is always the strength of bristle that you need. It's actually the action of the toothbrush against the tooth, not the firmness of the bristles, that makes your teeth cleaner when you're brushing. And as far as which toothbrush to choose, the best answer here is whatever feels best in your mouth and in your hand. But in general, in dentistry, if you're looking for good products, always look for that American Dental Association seal of approval. And it's just a little square that says ADA in it. It's on most of these products. And that's particularly important because there's a lot of strange trends, like TikTok trends and advertisements that I see here or there for these new things that look very flashy or they're trendy, but they're not actually good for your oral health. And so that seal of the ADA is going to be your sort of sticker to know that it's the right product for you. I love brushing with an electric toothbrush. I think that I have a lot more success getting my teeth clean. When I wake up in the morning, my teeth still feel shiny and slippery and all those good things. And if your teeth aren't feeling that way at the end of the day or when you wake up, you're not getting your teeth as clean as you potentially could be with an electric toothbrush. And so I recommend that. My daughter is 5 years old. She uses the Sonicare Kids brush. It's music, it's fun. Like with kids, we really want to use the motivational, fun things like the floss picks and all those things. And as far as brushing too hard, that was a great question. I picked up my pen for a reason. We want you to brush your teeth and hold it like a wand. Okay, so Harry Potter style, hold it like a wand, not like a sword. So if you're brushing your teeth like this, that's too aggressive. We really want it to be very light and dainty. And if you're using an electric brush, there's actually a different sound that the brush gives off if you're leaning on it too heavily. I can yell at my husband from our bedroom when I can tell he's brushing too hard because I can hear the sound in our bedroom. I'm like, you're brushing too hard, please stop.
So we know that we should be using a soft toothbrush. So can you tell us about the recommended routine that we should do while we brush our teeth? We know, okay, now we know to hold it like a wand, and I just grabbed this knife. It's the only thing in arm's reach. Hold it like a wand, not a sword. But how else should we go about brushing our teeth?
Yeah, great question. So the most important brushing of the day is your nighttime evening brushing before bed. So I think 15% of Americans only brush their teeth once a day. If that's you, please prioritize the evening as your brushing time, because we don't want your teeth bathing in bacteria and sugar and acid while you sleep for that 8 hours a night, hopefully, if you're lucky enough, right? So before my bedtime routine, I start with brushing with my favorite toothbrush, which is an electric brush. If you choose to rinse out your mouth after brushing, make sure you put a little bit of toothpaste back in your mouth, because water tends to inactivate the fluoride in the toothpaste that's making your teeth stronger. After that, I do my flossing. You could also use rubber tooth gum picks. You could use the little plastic flossers that kids like to thread through their teeth, or you could use a water pick, anything to remove the plaque and buildup that's in between your teeth, and then finish it off with some kind of mouthwash. And there's tons of different great brands. I personally like to swish with half peroxide, half water. It's inexpensive, it does a little bit of whitening, and it has a very mild taste, but there's plenty of good ADA recommended mouthwashes that you can use. And then go to sleep. So nothing after that in your mouth before you go to bed.
Thank you. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop back to Shannon, because we did open this live talking about how we are trying to get this program into schools because it is free, but I also want you to talk a little bit about why educators should care about teaching their students about the importance of oral health, and what role can educators play in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, healthy students are better learners, and that's important for us to know. And so students that have poor oral health are 3 times more likely to be absent. We've got to have them in school so we can teach them. The other thing is students with poor oral health are 2 times more likely not to do as well in class. Any of us that have had any kind of pain, we know that it's really hard to focus. So if you have a student in your classroom who, has some sort of oral pain, it's already gotten to that point, then they're not able to really focus on the content that you're teaching. So we want to make sure that we're making oral health a priority. And when our students do have any oral health issues, that we're helping them to get the help that they need. But a lot of this is preventable. So what we want to do is make sure that we're including oral health in, our interactions with students all the time. So number one, we need to educate. Providing that foundational education is going to be key, especially in those younger grades. So that's why we're focusing in on kinder through 2nd grade. I think it's a myth. We all believe that students just know how to brush their teeth, but that's really not the case. So we need to provide that foundational knowledge, and then we need to give them lots of opportunities to practice brushing their teeth. So in Catch Healthy Smiles, we have teachers oral health, the importance of oral health, and then we also have tabletop toothbrushing activities where you can give them the opportunity to practice those skills without having a sink in your classroom and all of those things. So it's very classroom friendly. Another thing that teachers can do is to role model those healthy behaviors. So you might not be necessarily brushing your teeth in front of your students all the time, but a couple of things you could do is to eat, we call them food healthy foods. Did I say that right? Oral healthy foods. Tooth-friendly foods. I'm going to get this, guys. So tooth-friendly foods in front of your students. Carrots, celery, anything like that that are healthy for your foods. And another thing you can do is practice drinking lots of water. So drinking water in front of your students, one, is just a great healthy habit, but it's also great for your oral health. So making sure to drink water, maybe doing some swishing throughout the days, and then also just having conversations with them. Like we mentioned before, making oral health fun, making it something that you talk about that's engaging. Let them know when you have your dental exams. Let them know how it goes. Anytime that we can have that conversation is great. And then the last thing that we can do that can be really beneficial is to catch them being good or catch them being healthy. When you see the students picking up those tooth-friendly foods, I got it that time. When you see them making those healthy choices, drinking water in class, reward them, call that out, make sure that they know that you see them and that you're excited that they're making those healthy choices. Yes, just like that. Great job drinking your water. Good role modeling.
Anytime someone talks about water, I instantly get thirsty. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for that. So I know that it's so important for us to be great role models, to show, not only tell our students, but to show them exactly what are the best ways for us to just take better care of ourselves in general. And I want to go back to Dr. Buehler again, because I do want you to share some more tips on how, parents can support their kids, especially since it's summer now and many kids will be home during the summer. So we talked about using a soft toothbrush. We talked about the routine of how to brush. And can you tell us what type of toothpaste should children be using?
It's a great question. So again, look for that ADA seal on the toothpaste. There's also a couple of products you can get on Amazon. There's one that actually discloses the plaque on a child's teeth while they brush, and it's in a blue-green color. And so that means you can send your children to go brush their teeth and then have them come back and check to see the areas that they're missing. So it's a really good learning tool for adults and kids. And we were talking yesterday about how important it is for kids to also use a tongue scraper potentially. And I missed this earlier when we were talking about this. I know it might gross some people out, but this is what a tongue scraper looks like. So a tongue scraper is just a surface that we use to actually scrape off the surface of our tongue. So you'll stick your tongue out, you'll put the tongue scraper on it, and you'll pull down and forward and then rinse it off. And the reason a tongue scraper is so important is because dental decay, so caries or cavities, is actually an infectious disease. It is caused by a specific bacteria or two. And that means we can like pass it from one person to another. And so it's really important to discourage food sharing, discourage toothbrush sharing ever in your household if that happens. If you have an infection, you should get a new toothbrush or bleach the tip of your existing toothbrush. All of these things make a really big difference because we don't want to pass that bad bacteria from one family member to another, or have one tooth in your mouth that has a cavity and then it spreads to other teeth. So tell me if this resonates for you. Like, you might have gone several years, many years without a cavity, and then you show up at the dental office and all of a sudden you've got 2 or 3. People are like, I don't understand what happened. What happened was that you got an infection in one tooth, and it's like having 20 kids swimming in the same swimming pool and one of them has the flu. One of them has the flu, they're going to give the flu to all the other kids sharing the same swimming pool, right? And so remember that tooth decay is actually an infection that can be passed. Brushing regularly, those healthy snacks, and then most importantly, the frequency of how often we eat sugar or acid. And this is one of those concepts that we don't hammer on enough because people don't understand the science behind it sometimes, but as educators, I'm sure this is easy for your audience to get. The bottom line is we don't want to drop the pH in our mouth too many times per day. And the reason that pH changes in our mouth is because we're either eating foods and drinks with a lower pH, or the bacteria that are sitting in our mouth are consuming sugar and pooping out acid, right? So this is kind of gross and kind of weird, but it's true. That's what happens when bacteria consume sugar in our mouth. That acid causes cavities. And so I always put kids into 2 categories, and adults too. You're either a giraffe or you're a lion, okay? I'm a giraffe. Giraffes need to eat constantly through the day because they're grazers. They love carbs. My personality is like directly linked to how many carbs I've had in the last 2 hours. Whereas your lions are like my husband. He eats 2 or 3 big meals. He can like skip a meal and not notice it because he eats steak and potatoes and huge things, right? Lions don't tend to get as many cavities as giraffes because it's that constant, frequent exposure to sugar. As kids come home for the summer, as we're all home, working from home, and we're drinking things throughout the day, we are actually causing more tooth decay because it's the number of times a day that your mouth is seeing food of any kind or sugars or acids that causes tooth decay. The water balances that out. So Shannon talked about drinking water all day. Water is balancing out the pH in your mouth again and helping your teeth stay nice and strong and healthy.
Thank you. That giraffes and lions, right?
Giraffes and lions, yeah.
That is such a great way to kind of give us a better idea of, what really causes our teeth to decay. And before we go any further, I do want to mention to everyone that's in this live that if you want to learn more about how you can help your children to learn more about oral health, please visit catchhealthysmiles.org. I did pin that comment down below so that you guys can go check it out in case you just joined or you want more resources. There are a ton of free resources on there that you can use and check out, in addition to the free K through 2nd curriculum that they have available. So we have a couple of minutes left. Before we go, I do want to ask Dr. Buehler if there is anything else a parent should have in mind when taking their kid to the dentist, or anything educators should be aware of in the classroom.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking this. When you go see the dentist, it's important to tell them if your child has any fears about seeing the dentist, and you can actually ask to talk to the dentist first before your child goes back. If they have any oral habits like thumb sucking or chewing on pens, biting their nails, your dentist is going to need that. And we really need to hear about sleep disturbances. So a very undiagnosed thing in kids today is childhood sleep apnea, and it's actually orthodontists who help to correct that. So childhood sleep apnea is more linked to the shape of the back of your throat and mouth, and some kids have a very tight, restricted upper arch, and the orthodontist needs time to space that out to help them breathe. Key things to look for: mouth breathing in the classroom. So a kid who's never breathing through their nose, their mouth is always open. These children are often, they kind of look malnourished. They're skinny and thin, which is the opposite of what we typically think of when we think sleep apnea. And they're sleepy in the classroom, or they have behavioral issues. So if you're a parent, snoring is a key indicator. Your child should not snore. And any of these things really warrant a visit to the orthodontist to talk about their breathing and airway, or maybe even a sleep clinic at a children's hospital. So definitely something to be aware of, because it presents as a behavioral issue. It might be something where a child's getting diagnosed as ADHD when they don't have ADHD, they just need more sleep. It's so important for their brains, right? Beyond that, I think we covered most of it. Shannon, can you remember any of the ones that we were chatting about yesterday?
I think you covered most of it, and I have to say I've already ordered my tongue scraper. So thank you for all of the information. I can tell you just a little bit more about the Catch program, how to find it, and how to use it. One thing to note is that it really has become just a great partnership. Catch Healthy Smiles, like we mentioned before, was created at UT with the UT School of Public Health. Catch Global Foundation, we are in charge of kind of housing that program, helping to disseminate it, helping to empower educators through trainings so that they are equipped to, share and teach the program. And so this partnership has been wonderful. And thankfully to Delta Dental, we're able to provide this resource, which comes with training, absolutely free for all the schools, in the United States. And while I'm talking about schools, we know how busy you are. Educators just have so many responsibilities. They wear so many hats. So the resource was created, or the program was created with that in mind. So there's lots of resources from, the teaching slides, all of the keynotes that you need are there. There's information on how to do that tabletop toothbrushing lessons. Everything's done for you, so you're not having to create the lessons. Everything is there. There's also resources so that you can create a healthy environment. So morning announcements, bulletin board ideas. We even have stickers that you can put on your cafeteria line to highlight those tooth-friendly foods. So all of the resources are there, and they're available so that you can pick and choose what works for your campus, what you're really passionate about. It's also a one-stop shop. So instead of looking and searching for videos or different resources to give to your students, it's all in one spot. So we're thinking about you educators. We know how busy you are, and we wanted to make sure that it was a resource that was very user-friendly and very fun, because at Catch, our motto is, if it ain't fun, it don't get done. So we know that if it's not, I know, but you know what? You're going to remember that.
That's a good one. So thank you, Shannon. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's
okay.
good. But we know that if you're having fun teaching it, you're more likely, to use it with your students.
Thank you. And again, you guys can go check it out at catchhealthysmiles.org. We do have 2 questions from people who are in this live. So the first question is, can you brush your teeth with only baking soda? And the second question is, how do you find a dentist for a child who may be on the autism spectrum? So are there specialized dentists that you can find? And if so, how do you find them?
These are great questions. So absolutely, you can brush your teeth with just baking soda, and it does a nice job removing plaque. The one thing to be aware of is that baking soda doesn't have any fluoride in it, and fluoride is an important element that your teeth need to strengthen them. So if you can't tolerate regular toothpaste with fluoride, baking soda works great. You may want to try like a calcium supplement or a fluoride supplement to help replace the missing fluoride. As far as children who may be on the autism spectrum, seek out pediatric dentists. So there are actually 5 specialties in dentistry. Pediatrics is one of them. These are dentists who went to dental school and then they got an extra couple years of training in just treating children, and especially children with special needs. They will actually treat them throughout their lifetime, and they have more like tools in their tool shed to help with this. So some children with autism need to actually be sedated for dental treatment. Some do not. But most importantly, if you have a child on the autism spectrum, you're aware that the stimulus of a dental visit, the bright lights, the sounds, the vibrations, it's all a lot for a child. It's especially a lot for a child with a sensory disorder, right? So make sure that your dentist is aware of it. And if you don't feel like it's a good fit with you, just find another dentist. There are plenty of dentists out there, and you want to make sure you're in a relationship with a dentist that you feel good about.
Awesome. Thank you. That was so helpful. I didn't know that there were dentists that specialize in helping children with special needs. So I appreciate that. And we really hope that this live was helpful for you all. If you all have any questions at all about the program or any lingering dentist questions, you can please DM me and I will try to get those questions answered for you. I would like to thank Shannon and Dr. Buehler for joining me today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.